Moving on now, how desperate are Chinese companies for business? Enough to fool the American authorities and evade the sanctions. It's a classic trick in the playbook. A company facing regulatory troubles often sets up a subsidiary or an affiliate under a different name. That's what some Chinese firms are now doing. They are rebranding themselves as American to avoid crackdown. Take American Later, for example. In December, the so-called new company registered itself in Michigan. Its planned home would be near the big three US automakers. But one key detail was left out in the registration. The company is China-based. It's the Hesai Group. The United States has flagged the group as a security concern. Hesai became a target in the US-China tech trade war. It faced allegations that its laser sensors could be used to collect sensitive American data. You see, it allows cars to recognize their surrounding environment, enabling features such as lane keeping and automatic braking. This did not sit right with the United States, so it slapped sanctions on the firm. Almost 1/5 of Hesai's revenue comes from the United States. It could not afford to lose the American market, so it set up an American version. But its woes were far from over. A month later, Hesai was added to the Defense Department list. This list designates companies as Chinese military entities operating in the United States. The Pentagon's designation, it prohibits the US military from buying Hesai products, but automakers and other private companies can still buy them. Hesai's stock fell 30% in a day after the list was published. It still hasn't recovered. Hesai has since paused plans for the American facility. It is blaming the fallout on being labeled a Chinese military entity. It has also filed a lawsuit against the Defense Department, demanding to be removed from the list, claiming that the group is not controlled by the Chinese government. A lot of other Chinese firms have taken a similar route. A Massachusetts affiliate of Chinese biotech company BGI Group recently rebranded itself by striking off BGI from its name. Years ago, Chinese telecom company Huawei Technology set up an American subsidiary. It was known as FutureY, just before US sanctioned the company. SCDJI Technology is also on the list. It is the world's largest drone maker. Struck a deal with an American startup to sell drones in the US ahead of a possible ban. Congress has still proposed a new ban on DJI. It prohibits the use of DJI drones by consumers as well as governments. It is based on concerns that DJI might be sending data from its drones to Beijing and that its drones enable human rights abuses in China. DJI, however, claims that these allegations are false. While this practice of rebranding is legal according to lawyers, it still does irritate regulators. How would they enforce laws when it isn't clear who is behind a company? Some national security experts and lawyers say singling out individual Chinese companies is not enough, as it leaves a lot of room for rebranding. If what experts are saying is true, the shell game is only going to intensify as the United States ramps up crackdown on China. Now, China's economic growth, a major driver of the global economy for decades, is facing new challenges. A rapidly aging population and a slowdown in key sectors are raising concerns about the country's future economic trajectory. Take a look at this report for more.
China's economic miracle faces a demographic hurdle. The percentage of its population over 65 has skyrocketed from 7% in 1998 to 15.4% in 2023. This rapid aging is unprecedented, and experts warn it could significantly impact future growth. Historically, no nation has achieved high economic growth of over 4% after reaching a 15% elderly population share. This raises concerns as China's GDP growth, though still outpacing the US, has slowed in recent years. Demographers predict a significant slowdown for China. They forecast a drop to 3% growth by 2028, with the US potentially surpassing China by 2031 to 2035. The US Congressional Budget Office projects a more gradual slowdown for the US, with growth easing from 2.2% to 1.9% by the early 2030s. This potential shift could have major global ramifications. China's economic slowdown isn't solely due to demographics. An eroding trade surplus, low interest rates, and deflationary pressures are weakening its currency and hindering growth. Additionally, stagnant household income and shrinking workforce further complicate the picture. Experts believe tackling these issues requires a significant political and economic overhaul, something China may be hesitant to undertake. This, coupled with the ongoing real estate crisis, high youth unemployment, and trade tensions, paint a concerning picture for China's economic future. Some experts even predict a lost decade of stagnation. Business Bureau, WION, World is One.
For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.